Welcome back to a new video here at Life with the Bridges. If you're new round here or missed our last video, we boarded a plane for the first time since our son got diagnosed with cancer in search to reignite our trust in our son's health and continue to rebuild our life and go in search for the passion that we've always had, known as travel. So far we've landed in Carcassonne in the south of France with our family, went to a giant inflatable water park on a lake, flew through the air like a distressed salmon, and immersed ourselves in the beauty that is the south of France and all it has to offer. So if you didn't see our last video, I'll put a link above. In this video, we go to a local chateau to learn how wine is created and taste the whole range of fine wines paired with amazing food. We go and explore a beautiful coastal town and spend some more special time with the family, and even take our boy to a huge aquarium in Montpellier as the south of France weather let us down. If you want to follow our journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can follow our adventure through life post-cancer. We arrived at this beautiful family-run chateau to learn the process of turning these voluptuous grapes into the beautiful wine that we effortlessly grab off the shelf to send it straight down the hatch without any knowledge about what happens in the middle stages, then usually regret it in the morning as your head's pounding like a couple of rabbits in mating season. In all honesty, it's as simple as grow it, pick it, squash it, ferment it, taste it, bottle it, pack it and ship it. Simple really when you think about it, only joking, there's a little bit more to it, so let me tell you lucky chaps how it all works. Here's a little dummy's guide to how to produce wine. First step, get yourself a tour guide that knows all about the process so you can absorb all the information and then pass it on to others, like I'm doing right now. This chateau started off with only 15 hectares of land and over the years expanded to over 100 hectares, and anyone that doesn't know what that means, just take my word for it, it's bloody ginormous. She then proceeded to tell us that it isn't as simple as plant a vine, water it and hope it grows. To say it was a fine art to producing good quality grapes would be an understatement. It's a big balancing act when it comes to picking the right type of soil, pruning the trees just the right amount, watering perfectly and praying the weather is on your side, and so much more. The average grapevine lasts around 45 years, some can last up to 75 depending on the type of grape and the soil it's planted in. When the vine is too old, it will start to produce poor quality grapes and therefore resulting in poor quality wine, and nobody wants that. When the vine's time is up, it's fully removed and the soil is left for 2 years to rejuvenate its nutrients, ready to be planted, to start off the process all over again. Each type of wine is started off by planting a specific type of plant. So a Chardonnay wine is produced by a Chardonnay grape. And the fun fact for you guys, it takes roughly about 1.3 kilograms of grapes to create one bottle of wine. Anyway, enough fun facts for you. Now we'd seen where the grapes are grown, we quickly tried it, the girls had a selfie for good measure, and then we were off to see where the grapes were pressed and stored. And voila! Look at this monstrosity. Here is where each and every grape is taken on a journey to squeeze as much juice out of them and then mixed or stored to create certain types of wine. These juices are stored in either these big red drums which hold up to 40,000 bottles of wine, or glass fibre tanks, or in an oak barrel to begin the fermentation process. The juices for the red wine is stored between 12 and 18 months depending on which wine they were creating, and the whites and rosés were a matter of weeks as they were striving for a much cleaner and crisper taste in comparison to the red. We then moved on to the bottling process, which is done 90% by this incredible machine but is manned by 3 to 4 staff members. I'm going to let our guide take this part as it sounds so much better in a French accent.
These tanks that are directly linked to the machine. Then here we have one person putting the empty bottles on the machine. Then here the bottles are rinsed with water, filled with wine, cork, or with a real cork, or with twist caps. This is only according to the client demand, we can do both. In France, we only have like 2 or 3 clients asking for the twist caps. It's bar restaurant because it's easy to serve by glass and it's very hygienic. Otherwise, the French market, we really like to have our real cork.
Bonjour, me again. They were telling us that 3 to 4 members of staff and this machine can bottle over 11,000 bottles of wine a day ready for distribution. But how is that even possible, I hear you ask? Back to the guide.
So one person with the empty bottles, one person behind here just putting the bottles in the cases quickly. Then here one person helping sometimes because we cannot, it's impossible. No one is
fast enough
to do everything. So to help a little bit here and to put the boxes on the pallets, and one other person checking a bit everything and moving the pallets, bringing the bottles, the empty bottles there, bringing the new pallets, filming the pallets, taking the machine, putting new corks, see if everything is okay.
Once the wine is all labelled and put into bottles, they are packed, boxed and stacked in crates ready for distribution to their clients all over the world. Now we had topped up our knowledge on how the wine was made from start to finish, it was only right that we tried some of their wine in a wine tasting room, which they were pairing up specific flavours to complement the type of wine they had produced. First, we tried a white and a rosé from the same range, paired with a lovely goat's cheese. Then we tried more of a full-bodied white wine with a more intense flavour, which was paired with another cheese called Comté. That was rubbish, let me try that again. Comté? Comté? It was cheese, but it was lovely though. I did the traditional swirl the wine around the glass to make sure I smelt all the fruity notes that had been meticulously crafted into this wine, or more to the point, to make it look like I actually knew what I was doing. We then moved on to try 3 different types of red wines, paired up with black olive paste, a salami, and lastly some dark chocolate.
Really focus on the fruits, on fresh red fruits, then according to everyone, strawberries, raspberries or cherries.
Oh, one sniff too many.
But really, fruity would be his perfect description.
Okay. What's cheers in French, is it?
Chin.
Chin. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be like salute or something. Chin up.
Chin chin.
It could be santé.
Santé.
Santé is like for health. Good
Good
health,
health.
but it's more like with
Also
bread, it's
nice.
more chin chin.
Chin chin. Oh, that's a lot deeper, isn't
That's
it?
really nice.
And to sum up our experience in one noise, over to you, Kate. With the wine tasting a huge hit amongst us all, we went and purchased a few bottles, sat outside in the sun and had one last glass and headed home to be reunited with the kids. So we are back from a wine tasting which was absolutely glorious. Bye-bye! 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 We regrouped with the family, then took a short drive into the local town to have a drink in a nearby restaurant and share our knowledge with our parents. With one quick drink, we returned back to the villa for another nice barbecue for dinner to bring an end to another lovely day here in the south of France. We are having a family day out in a seaside town called Gruissant, Gruissam, and it's just a coastal town. We don't know what's here, but we're chasing the sun a little bit and we just wanted to get out of the villa and the cabin fever that we were experiencing, so we've come to the coast.
Do it.
Let's do it! What an absolutely beautiful little seaside town this is. Teddy didn't sleep very well at all. He's been sleeping in the same bedroom as us, and his little toddler age has allowed him to start playing us a little bit now. So he spent a lot of the night playing and clapping and singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm and telling us all the wonderful things he was going to do the next day, which led to very little sleep. So we were banking on the fact that we'd push him around the port here at Gruissant, and it hasn't gone down well. So we've ordered a couple of takeaway pizzas and a couple of drinks, and we're going to go and sit down by the lake and have some pizza in hope that the little boy will sleep on the way home, because he is running on a battery that I didn't even know existed. But it is all good fun. He is happy and healthy. We had a little hiccup yesterday that my brother and his wife, their daughter, has kind of picked up something which sounds a little bit like croup, a real chesty cough, which is slightly alarming for her, obviously being the priority, but we need to be extremely careful with Teddy because obviously being in a different country as well, it's a bit alarming for us because we don't want him to get it. We've been lucky up till now, them both being relatively okay. A little bit of a runny nose, which we assumed was the aircon, but yeah, so we need to be very, very, very careful. We don't want to end up in a French hospital, so hence the fresh air and going on a little family day, and it's been lovely. So yeah, but for now, we're going to tuck into these pizzas and then head back towards the family villa. Bonjour!
Pizza!
Should we have a pizza party? With Teddy using the car journey as an opportunity to finally take a nap, we left Gruson and hit the road for home, and arrived home to feed the sandwich in which he didn't eat to the French birds. What a treat for them! With the birds all fed, it was time to feed us, and being a professional wine taster now, we had a pending cheese and wine evening ahead. We had more cheese than the whole of the French mice population could possibly eat, and a lovely selection of cured meats to accompany our wine, all washed down with a family but competitive game of darts to end another lovely day. Good morning, we are up and out again, and we are going to a true traditional French market this morning, which would be lovely, and I'm sure will be a whole bunch of joy for Teddy. So yeah, let's see what the French markets are like. Whenever we travel to a different country, it's almost ingrained in us to want to immerse ourselves in the local traditions and way of life. We try to speak the language as best as we can and trying to absorb as much of the local culture as possible. Firstly, out of respect, but secondly, to expand our minds in how other people live in different countries. I think we could all be guilty of finding comfort in staying where we're comfortable and doing things we enjoy, and only that. But as they say, life starts out your comfort zone, and this falls into the same category of exploring the world and experiencing new traditions and cultures. This market was split into two halves. One half was the locals selling their second-hand goods, which was like going back in time. Some would call this complete rubbish, but one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. On the other side of the bridge was the second part to the market, and this was full of clothes stalls, delicious food stalls, people selling their locally produced fresh fruit and veg, and so much more, all wrapped up in a small square in this idyllic French town. I'd been practicing my French, but I haven't got a clue what he just said. Anyway, amongst all the incredible smells of all the fresh French food, there was even another French man selling a humongous range of musical instruments, which Ted absolutely loved. And on our way out the market, we even stumbled across something so French and so traditional, known as a good old park. Or, as the French say, le parc. Wow, your first French park, Teddy B. That was pretty good, well done. And we even started to teach Teddy some French. Bonjour. 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 Good boy. Learning your French. Très bien. With the French market done, we returned back home and we stopped off at a local river to collect some treasure with Teddy and feed the fish some of our old French baguette. And you guessed it, Teddy spotted a park out the window on the way home, so we had a little play in there before heading home for our pizza night. Once again, we have another pretty great day here in France. So we are committing a day to a day trip. So we're going to go out to drive an hour and 45 minutes to Montpellier, and we're going to go to a place called Planet Ocean, where it doesn't matter if it rains, and we're not chasing the sun. So Yeah, to Planet Ocean. You ready to go and see some animals?
All animals.
You got all the animals?
It's sea animals.
We're going to see some sea animals, yes. You ready? Let's do it. We have finally arrived at Planet Ocean and Teddy is excited. It's good to get out. And the skies are blue in Montpellier, so today's going to be a good day. But it's an octopus!
Wow! It was a penguin. It's a brilliant. It's brilliant. It was a penguin now. It's
Wow, we're under the sea! Wow, Teddy's penguins!
I see some fishies! Wow! Isn't that big shark? Look at these!
Because the weather hadn't been on our side on this trip, between the spells of rain and bad weather, there was a lot of inside playing to keep him occupied and happy, which wasn't exactly how we'd planned our trip here in the south of France. So we owed this day to Teddy. Taking him to an indoor aquarium full of animals is something he absolutely loves. Again, wasn't on our agenda. We had hoped to be outside 95% of the time, but with the weather being out of our control, we made the best out of a bad situation, and he was loving it. And someone who could quite easily lose a day sitting on the sofa watching David Attenborough documentaries, I was in my element too, until we saw this shark, which we were hoping was on the way to the dentist. Enough sharks, time to tread on some fish. With the fishes squashed, we then arrived in paradise and Teddy couldn't wait. Luckily, Teddy couldn't get his feet into these ones, otherwise they'd all be done for, which led us nicely into the rainforest, where everything was out of stomping distance, and within minutes, like a safety pin to a magnet, Teddy had found the one and only slide in the place, and he was as happy as a pig in shit. Wow! Now Teddy's found a slide. All of the amazing creatures and ocean wildlife don't matter. And he's on number 12 of going down the slide. We had finally managed to claw him away from the slide and worked our way through the mangroves and then had a quick sit on an absolutely ginormous tortoise to end an amazing day here at Planet Ocean. We hit the road to head back to the family villa and then arrived home, so Teddy wanted to make me a rather interesting lunch for myself and the babies. You're going to put some sauce on my donut? Thank you. Some nice vinegar on my donut.
This one.
And tomato sauce? Yummy, yes please.
Tomato sauce first.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. More sauce, okay. That's going to be one well covered donut. Wow, thank you, Chef Bridge.
It's yummy.
With the grandparents on bath and bed duties, we nipped out to the new town of Carcassonne for a few drinks and an early dinner. Meanwhile, Teddy was at home having a makeshift bath in Nanny's, sink. He washed all that dirt from running around the aquarium, then turned his attention to washing all of his animals, which consisted of a big horse, a small horse, a goat, a cheetah and a dog, and then decided to have a water fight with Nanny. What a perfect way to end another day. We started the new day with, yes, you guessed it, more animals. But this wasn't just any animal visit. We were going to visit a donation-funded animal reserve, which is on a lovely lady's property who over the years had rescued a whole bunch of animals and has brought them to the safety and comfort of her amazing property. We introduced ourselves and then she gave us a tour around her farm, telling us about each animal and where she had rescued them from.
It's beautiful.
She had 4 goats on the sanctuary and one of them called Johnny, who followed us all the way around the farm and liked to sporadically headbutt you when you weren't looking. She had 2 lovely pigs and 24 donkeys who were absolutely adorable. Each donkey had a name and a story behind where they were originally from and the upsetting story to why they were eventually rescued and brought to the sanctuary to finally live a safe and happy life where they were fed, watered and finally well looked after.
It's yummy, donkeys.
We explored the sanctuary further and saw mules and an unfortunate horse that was in a life-threatening state before she was rescued. Although she still has long-lasting effects from being so poorly treated over the years, the sanctuary now funds all of her care and medication.
What an amazing place this is. It's a lovely lady who is opening up her house and her land for people to come and look at all the rescue animals. They've got pigs, they've got donkeys, they've got horses, mules, and all of them are rescue animals. And what a beautiful, beautiful piece of land she's got. She's got over 15 hectares of land and rescuing all these animals, and yeah, it's amazing to see. It's all run on a donation basis, which is absolutely lovely. So obviously we're going to make a donation, and Teddy had the most fantastic time looking at all the refuge animals. We're going to go and see some more donkeys, but I'll pop a link in the description below of the place of this. If you are in the south of France, near the Carcassonne area, please come and give a donation to this amazing, amazing place. And a really lovely and informative lady.
As lovely as it was for Teddy to see these animals, it was more than just a farm. To see all these animals now having a new lease of life due to the selfless kindness of this wonderful lady and her family, to give these animals another chance in life. The whole sanctuary is self-funded and only asks for small donations to help the cause. She was a true inspiration, and when speaking to her further, amongst all of the life stresses that come with running the upkeep of this animal sanctuary, she could also unfortunately resonate with our story with Teddy in her own life, which made this morning even more meaningful and upsetting, and proves the point that everyone has their own battles in life, but when life brings you unexpected curveballs, to see people still struggling through kindness and care for nature is truly inspirational. We return back home with farms being at the forefront of Teddy's mind. Teddy made it very clear by the way of shouting nursery rhymes. Who would have thought it, hey? A life 12 months ago, us as the Bridge family didn't even believe would be possible. We couldn't even picture our life without hospitals in it. And now look at us, encroaching into a life that we once lived before Teddy's diagnosis. A life where when you wake up every morning, you can think about what you want to do with your day, rather than being swamped with a timetable full of hospital visits and medication. A life where the thought of the future was a misty and murky concept, to now looking at the future which day by day has more clarity to it. Does this mean that we're free of worry? Absolutely not. We are fully aware of the situation we're still in, and the prognosis and statistics of Teddy's disease still haunts me on a daily basis. But what is starting to be introduced back into our life is small bits of confidence regarding Teddy's health, small bits of confidence regarding our future, and a large portion of hope that this new life we're building is going to be forever. As if it is, the rest can be rebuilt back bigger and stronger in years to come. Rome wasn't built in a day, and nor will our life be. But hope and time is all we need as the Bridge family to help rebuild the rest. With another day drawing to a close and the sun setting in the distance, we were entering our last night here on this extremely special time away with the family. That word right there, family, is the reason why it's been so special. All being together under one roof was honestly more than we could have ever asked for.
I've just come out for a lovely final bike ride of the holiday, and just to take in how incredible the surroundings have been in the area that we've been staying in. As you can see in the background, you've got the Pyrenees mountains in the far, far distance, and over the other side of the valley there is the Black Mountains. So in Carcassonne, where we've been staying, is just in this valley of just pure beauty and vineyards, sunflower fields, and it is just amazing. So I just thought I'd treat myself to one little solo bike ride just to take it all in, make sure I'm not taking it for granted, and put an amazing end to this really, really special trip. So that is us done here in the south of France. We have had the most amazing time. It's been a very, very relaxed, very laid back and chilled sort of trip for us. It's been all about spending time with the family, and Teddy to have his first trip away since his diagnosis. What was once upon a time a flight that was booked as a complete gamble to whether we would actually make it here or would Teddy be well enough, ended up working out really, really well. And so we are forever, forever grateful just to be able to have had this time with our boy, with our family, and be all together and just continue our journey to rebuild our life. So that's a perfect time to end this video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. A humongous, humongous, humongous thank you to all of our Bridge family members who continue to support us that extra little bit, so we can continue to keep making these videos for you and sharing our life and raising awareness of what it's like post-cancer. Make sure you join us back for our next video when we return back home to Bridge HQ and start the week off with a fairly daunting but exciting task, that Teddy starts nursery. So there's loads of content to come regarding what it's like and what it feels like to have your son go back to nursery amongst all the bugs and fevers and infections that potentially is to come. And yeah, very, very nerve-wracking, but it's something that we need to do for him, and he needs to do for his own immune system. So, but more about that in later videos. And most importantly, live for today, as tomorrow is never promised. Catch you in the next one, chaps.